for joining me. Today we're going to talk about another automation based on flow, but we're going to focus on enhanced email and email message as well as task object. So what does that mean? Let's say if your org has enhanced email enabled, to see that you can go to setup, type enhanced email, and it will take you to this setup page where either it may be disabled or enabled in your org. So when enhanced email is enabled, what it does is it will actually give you a new object called email message. And anytime you are sending email using this email button or anywhere from Salesforce, it will actually create an email message record on the background, as well as a task record as well associated with that. But the task, you cannot directly get to the task from activity timeline anymore. Now, if I click on this, it will take me to an email message record. You can see here on the URL email message. So this is an email message record. There is a backdoor way of going to that task. So if I go to show all data here and type activity, there's still a task created, but you can just get to it using the UI. So it's basically pretty much hides the task object from you. So that's number one. Now I'm on the task page and I can see it has all the fields. Email was test email and all that. So just quick introduction on email message. Now I'm going back, and if I turn off, if the enhanced email is disabled in your org, you don't have to worry about it, because then it will automatically take you to the task. So now I'm going to go back to my contact and refresh my page. So now if I click on this, it will directly take me to the task. You can see here, right? So why am I talking about all this is, here's the use case. Let's go back to that contact. The use case here is very simple. Anytime a user sends an email to a contact, I want the contact status to be updated to email sent, for example. So I'm just going to empty this out to show an example. So I want the status to be updated anytime an email is sent to a customer. Now, this sounds a very straightforward use case. By instinct, our first instinct will be to create an automation on task, which I already have. Let me go to the task automation that I have created. So the task automation is pretty straightforward. You have a record is created after the record is saved, and I'm just some conditions. Task subtype is email, because that's what you're going to see, and who ID is not null. So that's the condition, and then I'm just saying update contact status. So here I'm using update records, and ID equals getting the who ID of the task. So task who ID is always the contact ID or the lead ID, and status is email sent. Now, if I activate this, we will see that it will not work. Now I'm going to activate this and try to show you what, and it doesn't work, and there's a reason for that. So I'm just going to say test, send. Now see, the status did not get updated, and this is a Salesforce limitation. So in order to meet that limitation, what we need to do is use a flow or an automation on the enhanced email object and not on the task object. So that's the number one point. So I'm going to deactivate this now, and I already have another flow on enhanced email, and this only applies if you have enhanced email turned on. So you'll use an email message object. So basically here we have a record is created after the record is saved, and when you're actually creating this, you'll see the object is called email message. That's the object name itself, email message. Status can be, I'm just saying sent. When you click send, it automatically captures 3, and that's fine. So after that, how do we get to the contact? So the email message has a background field called task. So we are getting the task record first. So to get the task record, we're just saying task ID equals record.activity ID. So if you start typing this here, we are already on email message record. So that's the email message. And if you start typing activity, it will have an activity ID. So it's an association to the task. I'm just finding the first record and storing all the fields. Now that I have the task, I'll be able to get the contact and update the contact in the same go. So basically now I'm just saying update contact object where ID equals, all I need now is, since I already queried the task, I can just query the contact ID who ID. That's the contact ID. And then I'll just update the status here. Called, I'm just going to say email sent. And let's save this. Activate. Okay, now let's try that again. Now I'm going to send an email. Test. And hit send. Now that should automatically update your contact status. So this is really a weird limitation. I'm not sure why, but you'll have to use email message, even though if you go to this task, I just want to show you something. If you go to this task, I'm just going to go to that task through backdoor, going to this activity. And if I go to this task has already subtype equal to email, but the automation will not fire. Now, if I show you the subtype field on this one, it is email. So even though we used task automation with subtype equal to email, it does not work for some reason. So you'll have to use email message. For the rest of the tasks, so like if you wanted to log a call or anything else, it will work just fine. It's just for the send email, it's different. That's all for today. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions. I know I went kind of fast on the enhanced email, so if you have more questions on the task and the email object itself, let me know if you are interested in learning more about that. Thank you so much for watching.